This is Coyote News.
The anthropology and sociology departments are researching what's known as the tattoo flu. Coyote News' Jodianne Tyson is live in the Al Newharth Media Center concourse to hear about the study. Jodianne.
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here with Dr. Saige Kelmelis from the Anthropology and Sociology Department. Dr. Kelmelis, what exactly is the tattoo flu?
That's a great question, and to preface, it's not a real clinical term. It's something that I first heard about when I was getting tattooed. So I am a tattoo collector in addition to being a social scientist, and I work with tattoo artists in the Sioux Falls area at the Red Arbor Tattoo shop, and I was getting tattooed. I had an 8-hour appointment, so I sat for 8 hours under the needle. And I came home, and about 45 minutes later, I felt like I had flu-like symptoms. So I felt very tired, I had aches and pains, the chills, and I was really like, oh no, am I sick with something? It was gone very quickly, and I did a little bit of research on it, and unfortunately, there's no real clinical term for it, but when I talked to my tattoo artist colleagues, they said, oh, well, that's something that people call tattoo flu. It's not a real thing, but we've heard about it, but we don't really know what causes it. And so with them and with other colleagues that I have at the University of Alabama, so specifically Dr. Chris Lynn, who studies traditional tattooing and immunology, and a couple of other colleagues that I have in Florida and in Texas, we're working together with our students to figure out what exactly is this. So in other words, is this potentially a short-term acute immune response to getting tattooed, which by the way is not because you're infected or anything, it's just because being tattooed is a form of trauma. So I'm a tattooed person, and because your skin is the largest organ in your immune system, it also is the one that combats a lot of the initial signs of problems. So getting tattooed is a kind of trauma. And so it makes sense that people have a little bit of a, oh, I feel tired today kind of response. So, but what we're interested in understanding are some people more likely to have it versus say others, and are you more immune to it after you get tattooed? Because studies show, and this is work that's done by my colleague Dr. Chris Lynn, that people who have more tattoos, get this, have a stronger immune response. In other words, it might be good for you. So that's basically what we're really interested in understanding with tattoo flu.
Okay, very interesting. And I understand that you're also doing a study on ancient Maya and the teeth study related to that. Now, while doing your research on that, like, have you had like that aha moment, like you found an interesting fact and you're like, wow, can you share that with us?
I can a little bit actually. So the tattoo thing is a very different project that I do. It's not typical to my normal repertoire. So I'm a bioarchaeologist, meaning that I study people from archaeological contexts in the past to understand what their lives would have been like. And I'm involved in a large study where we're trying to figure out what happened to the ancient Maya at the late Terminal Classic period. In other words, there was this big demographic event where there was this very big society, but it seems that there were some major changes. They didn't disappear, they didn't die out, but they may have depopulated the region, and we want to know why. So some people suggest that it may be because they just migrated, some people suggest that there were severe drought periods, and so that's our big question, where there are famines and epidemics. In my work with that, part of what I'm doing is studying their teeth. So your teeth are made up of all kinds of tissues, one of them being something called cementum. Cementum is a type of tissue that forms around the root of your tooth every year of your life. So think about it kind of like tree rings. But what's cool about it is that it can tell you how old somebody is, but also potentially tell you what they were going through in their lives. So were they pregnant, were they sick, things like that. And so in my work so far, looking at teeth from the ancient Maya, what we're finding is that we can tell how old they were, but we also might be able to see if they were enduring big stress events. So things like famine. So this would support our hypothesis.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kelmelis. There you have it. Research is a great way to learn more about the world. For Coyote News, I'm Jodianne Tyson.
Thanks, Jodianne. Those interested in getting a tattoo locally should check out either Iktomi Ink Tattoo Experience or Illuminated Dolly and Grouchy Hyena Studio.